So many people are excited for Black Myth Wukong's release, yet the mainstream media has done their very best to paint a negative picture surrounding this game. They have levied so many awful accusations towards the director of this game and also the studio, but now the game science offices have been vandalized all because of these accusations. I have a few different things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I have already covered Black Myth Wukong a couple of times on the channel. It's a game that looks really great and that I've been excited for a very long time, even before the mainstream media tried to, do their very best to get people to almost boycott this product. And I don't think that the attacks are going to, lighten up anytime soon. I think they're just going to get worse as we get closer to release. But now we're finding out that the game science offices have been vandalized. This is a tweet thread by Mark Kern, aka Grums on X. It says the offices have been vandalized, and game science, of course, makes Black Myth Wukong. They have been facing so much hatred because of the mainstreams like Kotaku, Polygon, The Gamer. They did not need this. They did not need to deal with somebody who is believing these accusations, showing up to their offices, and of course, trying to strike fear into the employees. It says the vandalizer is boasting about it on social media, and the motive appears to be a protest against the alleged anti-women stance of the studio. Now, they're, of course, referring to the accusations specifically from IGN back in November. There were sexist quotes, they said, coming from the game's director, but actually we found out more recently that the quote sexist remarks shown in the article were very poorly translated. We actually have a community note on IGN's post that says the quotes in the article are poorly translated. Accurate translations show this statement being vulgar, but definitely not sexist. Now, of course, as a woman, I hear a lot of jokes about women all the time. I make jokes about women all the time. It's really not that serious, and I am fine with people being vulgar. Vulgar and sexist are definitely two very different things, but IGN was trying to group them together in order to paint such a bad picture surrounding these devs. It also says IGN reporting on these fallacious, unverified claims as though their fact is yellow journalism, which, of course, yes, is something that we complain about all the time with these outlets. They do not care as long as they are painting their own narratives, as long as they are pushing the messages that they want to push. And of course, this Twitter/X account from the person who allegedly vandalized the offices, who is here, of course, boasting about it, this account is still up, but they're posting things like, "You will suffer the consequences if you do evil," even tagging the art director and, of course, the co-founder of Game Science Studios, and all of their posts are being, pretty ratioed. People saying, "You're a disgusting individual for doing this. This is awful of you," but they don't particularly seem to care. They actually said no one cares about game science, but clearly they do, because they went out of their way to vandalize their office and also share the address, share employee names. I mean, they are very clearly upset with these developers. And hey, in my opinion, it's fine if you dislike the game or, you dislike the developers, but at the same time, to go this far is absolutely disgusting. And there are words that are painted on the walls which include racial slurs. Now, of course, the mainstream media has not actually covered this yet, which is mighty suspicious given they've tried to jump at every opportunity to talk about game science, but there are no articles from any of these outlets yet. I highly doubt they're going to come out and defend game science just because they do believe that everybody who works there are just garbage, sexist individuals. But Most recently with Black Myth Wukong, we were talking about the sweet baby rumors. Now, of course, these were just rumors. Take them with a grain of salt, but we were hearing from Chinese media that the Black Myth Wukong devs actually refused to be extorted for $7 million by Sweet Baby. And honestly, after seeing, these people vandalizing their offices, it really makes you wonder if they had worked with a company like this, would their offices be vandalized? Because clearly this individual is going after them because of the alleged anti-women stance of the studio. And if Sweet Baby had been kind of brought into the fray, would they be happy with it because Sweet Baby would sanitize their content and, of course, make these developers come out and apologize? It really gets you thinking who is behind these attacks. Now, of course, the anti-women stance is absolutely unsubstantiated because the funny thing is that Game Science has invited women to play the game. They did have female developers on their team at one point, obviously. We don't constantly get updated dev lists, so we don't know for sure if they're still there, but one would assume they are. So these SJWs are just massive hypocrites, which isn't very surprising to see. But of course, there is a reason why this game is the #1 wishlisted title on Steam at the moment. It genuinely looks like it is going to be a fantastic experience, and maybe that's infuriating these people who want to hate them even more. The fact that it doesn't look like a trash game that people are going to forget about after a week or two. I think that this is going to stand the test of time, and judging by what we have seen so far and all of the information we've gotten, I think that they have a bright future ahead of them. They really are trying to listen to feedback. They're trying to make it, similar to other releases like Souls types of titles, but at the same time also doing something new and unique with a familiar story. It overall just looks like it is going to be a very good game, and I think it's going to be a massive success. And there are tons of people even saying that, this is disgusting, but this is not going to turn people away from this title, which I completely agree with. This honestly makes me want to support them even more because they are facing so much backlash simply for creating a product they feel passionately about. Just skimming the comments, there are people saying things like, "That's truly awful to hear. Vandalism is never the answer. It's sad that some people go to such extremes. Let's support the developers and focus on the amazing work they're doing with the title instead." Paid to do it, probably. I'm going to have to stream this game. I'm gonna have to check this game out now. I hope they find this guy. I hope this game is successful. I completely agree. I hope this ends up being really good. I hope it lives up to our very high expectations at this point, and I do hope at the end of the day it ends up being the game we all expected. So we still have a little bit of time before its launch, but I will be streaming it at release. I'm super hyped. I know tons of people are as well, and it will be interesting to see if the media actually comes out and defends Game Science and tries their very best to look like they're neutral, but I highly doubt it. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.